Hi, it's Joy and today I'm going to be watching Season 2, Episode 2 of The Gifted Emergence. I loved the premiere. It was such a good start to the season and I really feel like this season is going to be amazing. Sometimes Season 2 is going to be a bit of a letdown, but this one does not look like it's going to be. It looks like it's going to be even better than the first. I'm not entirely sure what to expect this episode because the way the last one ended, it could really go any direction. One thing is we didn't see anything of Jace Turner in that episode. You know, he quit Sentinel services, but he very much still had his vendetta against all mutants, especially our mutants. And although everyone thinks they're dead, he might suspect they're not, I don't know. But I feel like he's definitely not just vanished. We still have the Inner Circle, the Hellfire Club. I don't fully trust them. We have our mutants, but they've got a clinic that helps them now, so they're not kind of resourceless, but they don't have as many resources as the Inner Circle. And I think if they had the kind of money and resources the Inner Circle had, they'd be being a lot more effective at their more peaceful mission. But at the end of the last episode, Lorna had the baby. She called it Dawn. Dawn Dane. Even Dawn Diaz. I've got nothing against the name Dawn. I don't think it goes with either surname particularly well. I feel sad for Marcos because he didn't get to be there for most of the pregnancy. He didn't get to be there for the birth. He didn't even get to have a say in naming the baby. I saw Emma Dumont say on her, I think it was on her Instagram, that one of the reasons they couldn't call the baby Aurora was because there's already a Marvel character with that name. But I just feel so awful for Marcos. The Struckers, what's going to happen with them this episode? Yeah, so I don't want to wait longer. Let's go. 3 years ago, we saw I think some of this in the trailer and I was wondering why John was going to do it now. He came out when she was an adult. That's unusual, isn't it?
I'm offering you a purpose again, John.
And now in the present, he's lost that purpose because the Atlanta headquarters got blown up and...
Am I interrupting?
Is he finally going to talk to him after he did in all last episode?
Just something for the baby. I know I was going to prove her wrong.
God, that's really sweet and really tragic.
Hey.
And I think my heart is breaking even more than it already was.
Hope is what's been killing me, man.
You have so much more faith in humans than I do. Everyone who saw us has to go.
So the Frost sisters aren't actually instinctively as bad as Reba Page.
Mutant Underground while we
Okay,
locked up.
Esme isn't as bad. It's really interesting that the three sisters don't think exactly alike, that Esme is thinking differently. And killing people like that is part of why I would never support the Inner Circle. That's a really interesting dynamic though, that they're a bit different.
I can help! Help what? Smash their lamps?
One day he's just gone. 6 months.
Wow. Come on, you guys. Let's call it a night.
So hard because Lauren loves Andy so much. But she can't help but be scared of him because she knows who he is. Oh god, she can have another dream. This is like a weird premonition you're making. It's the same place.
We're meant to be together. Fenris is our destiny.
No. Let go! Let go!
Oh. She does love him so much, but... oh gosh. He had the dream too! I wondered if he was going to have it last episode. Oh god. That was really intense. I'm not okay. Why are they both having the same dream? Is it a premonition? Is it just sort of their bond, wanting them to be together and they're not? And oh, I hadn't really missed him, but I was waiting to see him.
You have to move on.
Listen to your wife.
Asking questions. I'm fine.
We want you to help lead it.
And now it's gone. Is he talking to anyone about how he's feeling or just keeping it inside?
I had no idea.
I'm glad he's telling her about it. Oh gosh. Oh, he's just innocent, gods.
Like Lauren said, he chose to leave.
He's the
You should
truth.
just let him go?
He won't come back with you if you find him, unless you're planning on
What would you do?
knocking him over the head,
It was Lauren.
taking him with you.
What is that supposed to mean?
You know exactly what I mean. What if it was Daddy's little girl?
Fine, you want to talk about Lauren? Let's talk about Lauren.
Lauren
Lucky she is so strong.
is in the flat, guys. Maybe shut up.
Mom, who is here in name only. I mean, I love you more.
How many of these fights has Lauren had to listen to? I get that you're hurting Caitlin, but Andy won't come with you. God. No. Okay, Andy, time to drain. Is he gonna go smack into one, or is he actually gonna be able to break all of them? Or he's gonna think about Lauren, and then he's gonna mess up. Ouch! Oh God. Oh God. Spy on Andy now. Spy on the children we have in our service of our army. Great.
Are you hiding here like the freaking Lizard of Oz?
Lizard of Oz.
I'm a mutant rights lawyer.
I wasn't
Unless you want to
expecting
file an
that.
injunction.
They took my son.
Wait,
They didn't take him.
how did you get this?
He left.
And he's still alive?
He was when we left him. Is this a real story, or is this a manipulative story?
You have anything you want to tell me?
No.
No.
Trusting her is not the right idea.
I won't from your old Instagram account.
Stalker.
Back when their family was happy and everything was easy.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I love Lauren. She just looks out for everybody else. Like, she's going through hell. And doesn't know what's
have to
happening
worry
with her
about me.
dreams. I have so many feelings about these characters. Is he going to talk to her about it?
I'm not bugging you.
I would support him talking to Lorna
I think
about
he's
it,
company.
100%.
And if Riva gets the idea that you're not with her 100%,
She will kill you.
that cannot happen.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand?
This is who you're working for.
She has to eat.
Oh, you mean like that?
So that's interesting. Lorna's warning that if Reva doesn't fully trust him, it would be bad. They know they can't trust the people they're working with, yet they're still working with them. Maybe Andy would go back if his family found him, if he's doubting enough. I don't know. But I think deep down, he believes too much in the cause. I don't know. Vade is following him, though. So if he is going to phone his family, Reva's going to know about it. Oh my God. Oh. I'm glad we're seeing Andy does miss them. Also, I thought I was wondering why he didn't. Oh, Andy. Go back to them. You know where they are. I mean, he believes in the cause and...
It's me. You got a problem.
You don't have a problem, you have a child. What did you think was going to happen when you recruited a child who'd A, miss his family, and B, is connected mutantly to his sister? I'd quite happily be okay with it if he was no longer in the show. This could be the last time I ever see him and he can just have a happy life. It's not going to happen, but yes please.
I'm gonna let you destroy the rest of what we built.
He did not destroy anything.
I told you what you wanted to know.
Get over yourself. They had an impossible situation and they did the best and they saved all the mutants they had.
It's my responsibility.
It wasn't your fault.
Brother. You did everything you could.
Exactly. Listen to them. Oh, is he gonna break through?
It's the sister.
I don't like this.
Your friends are never coming home. She'll kill them first.
Yep.
And if they stay with her, chances are you'll have to kill them. I'm sorry for that night in Tucson.
Situation whether he's reliable.
And if he isn't?
Definitely
We
like
can't keep him
Esme
here if he's not ours, and we certainly can't.
more
let
than
him
the
go.
others.
He's 15.
Do you
Thank
think
you.
I enjoy this?
You kind of helped do this, Esme, so don't look so upset.
I'm glad we sorted this out.
I really don't like her. Is he gonna tell her she's...
Sure, there is something.
Yeah, he's gonna open up just when she was about to kill him. She was about to murder him. How's anyone on her side?
Have to be strong.
Andy, they would kill Lauren in a second if they thought it would help motivate you. She was literally about to kill you, but he doesn't know that, I suppose.
Yes.
And he's a child. He chose to go with them, and I stand by everything they're saying. It was his choice to be there.
Memphis is human.
But they're very
So you need
manipulative.
to change this.
They got, oh, thank goodness.
You and Mom always arguing and fighting about finding Andy. Back in Atlanta, we killed 15 people. I've been looking them up. I know their names.
Oh,
I know their
Lauren.
kids' names. But you and Mom have never once talked about that day, or what it might mean for me to have Andy come home.
I have no idea. I'm sorry.
So am I. Every day.
Oh, Lauren. You had no other choice. Yeah, they really have not been there for her. At all. I wondered if he was going to have this attack in front of her, but no, he's still not going to tell anyone. Yeah, Von Strucker powers are crazy. Tell someone!
Shut up.
Tell her how you're feeling, that's what she's there. She wants to be there for you.
Go on.
Your party I wasn't invited to?
Yeah. Yeah, it is,
He wasn't
big
invited
celebration.
either.
To the baby.
Oh, Marco. It's so unfair and so heartbreaking. Maybe stay and talk to him a bit more. He's clearly not in a very good place. So at least, I don't know, give him a bit more than just, don't give him to despair. See ya. Oh, Marcos. Don't talk to Clarice. Oh. Why is everyone so sad and like broken? It's gonna do it this time. Yep, the manipulation got through to him. I mean, in some ways it was helpful because he was able to not get crippled by it, but... Yes, he does feel a little broken, so... More than a little. Screen, so it's kind of like his power and her power. Is Jace gonna see that and it's gonna make him mutant attacking again, but is that like a signal or... It's very pretty. Is she gonna see it? It's horrible because they still love each other, but they're completely on opposite sides of everything. No. So that was a really, really cheerful episode of The Gifted. It was really good this season. Again, it's really building up already. I've had 2 episodes. I like that this episode had a little more focus on Andy and on John, because in the first episode they were the 2 that had to take a step back because the other characters were very much in the focus, and I thought that was really good. I've never hated Andy, but he's never been someone that's been my favourite character. But this episode, I really enjoyed the way we got to sort of delve into him a bit more and into his psyche and what he's thinking. Because I agree with everything that Lauren and Reed have said. Andy chose to leave, it was his choice. But he is only 15, and so a lot of the things that are going on around him now are over his head. They're not, it's not right, it's not how you should treat them. Then I think it's interesting Lorna saying to him, really looking worried when she realised he had doubts, because if like as we saw, if Reva thinks he's not on their side and she can't trust him, she will kill him. And yet Lorna's happy to stay there with her baby. Andy, of course, has no idea Reva was literally seconds away from killing him. And I think how she's acting now is very manipulative towards him, you know, being there for him, hugging him, giving him advice 2 seconds after she was going to murder him. I mean, if it came down to it, she would kill Lauren and try and make it look like it was somebody else, and then inspire Andy to go off and kill everyone in revenge if she thought that would be a way to motivate him. She has no morals, and I do not like her. I was willing to give her and the Inner Circle a bit more of a chance this season, and to be honest, I've already seen enough to think I get it. Kind of, I can get the reason they act the way they act. But people like Reva Page, I don't like at all, and the other 2 Frost sisters, I do not like at all. Esme, she knows better. She knows what they're doing is wrong, and she's doing it anyway. So I'm interested to see that dynamic playing out, that there is a Frost sister who's not thinking in line with her sisters. Is that going to get explored more? I also found the fact that Andy had the dream this time as well fascinating. What is this dream? Is it just their power trying to draw them together, but within that sort of showing them both of their fears? Or was it just a nightmare Lauren had that Andy saw, but Andy looks the way he looks now? And I find it very interesting the fact that Andy knows Lauren's friend of him. And that really upset him, it really got to him, because obviously they love each other. The last thing he wants to do is scare his sister, and the last thing she wants is to be scared of him, because that love hasn't gone anywhere. The fact that they were brother and sister, that she taught him to swim, she's always been there for him, and now they're on different sides, and she hates herself, which breaks my heart, for the fact that they used their powers in the finale and they killed people, even though it was to save more people and themselves, even though they were pushed to that point where there was no other choice. What they did killed people, and Andy has been only ever excited about using Fenris, and we don't know if Andy has any thoughts about the fact that they kill people in the finale, but the fact that he went with the group that's pro-killing people would make it seem that if it came down to it, he would definitely use Fenris again. I know when they first practiced their powers, or they first tried it, Lauren said that she enjoyed it, and I think there's probably a little part of her that is scared that if she used it again with Andy, she might get drawn into it in the same way that perhaps their grandparents did. But I think Lauren's morals are very strong, and it would be a very sad thing if that actually happened. I just can't imagine. I feel so awful for Lauren, just constantly living with her parents, with her mum off on her crazy quest to save Andy, her dad, I don't know, fighting with her mum all the time about Lauren, but he's never actually sat down and talked with her about how she's feeling. He's just assumed he knows exactly how she's feeling. And the fact that earlier in the episode, she was feeling so much stuff. She'd just been listening to her parents argue earlier. She'd had another dream about Andy, another nightmare about Andy, and yet she went and she asked Reed if he was okay because she knows he's not. And I love Lauren. She is my favourite character. The others, I have like other characters that are like my secondary favourite characters, but Lauren is my favourite, and she has been since season 1. Season 2 is just confirming that fact. And then the fact when he finally asked her how, he mentioned it, so that was the first time he'd ever, from her reaction, asked her how she was feeling. Oh, that was heartbreaking, and I think it was heartbreaking for Reed as well to suddenly think, oh wait, he thought he'd been there for Lauren all this time by fighting with Caitlin, by trying to point out to her, well, Lauren's here too, Lauren matters, maybe Lauren should be doing fun things, maybe Lauren shouldn't be looking for her brother. He thought that he had been being there for Lauren, and he realised that he really hadn't. And I think Caitlin, that fight her at the beginning was, it was really hard. All of their dynamics in a way are in this absolute mutant, fantastical world, but families go through stuff like that in real life, and it felt really true. And Caitlin's saying that, oh, Lauren's daddy's little girl, what would you do if it was her? Well, if it was Lauren with the inner circle, the chances are they'd have kidnapped her, so yes, we would be doing everything we could to go and find her, but Andy did go by himself, and I think I understand Caitlin's desperate desire to get him back. I want him to come back, you know. I was almost hoping, I knew it wouldn't happen, this episode that he would be driven to go back, but I think he does agree with the inner circle, and I think he doesn't fully understand everything that they're doing, but no one else does really. So it's a really hard thing because Andy made that choice, he left, he wasn't taken. Like Caitlin keeps saying they took my son, they didn't, he left. But it's very much not a good situation for Andy to be in. But I think the older he gets, the more confident in his powers he gets, he might have gone that way anyway. So it's a really messed up situation, and the person I feel the most sorry for in it all is Lauren, because she has no say in any of this. She desperately wants to get her brother back, but at the same time she really doesn't want to get him back because, you know, as much as it even really hurts her to think it, if he's there, there's always the chance they will use their powers. If he's there, there's a chance he will initiate using their powers and she won't be able to fight him off. Sorry, the phone's ringing, waiting for someone to answer it, but they're not answering it, so I will leave it. But I can't imagine what they're going through, and I'm really connecting even more with Lauren this season than I did last season, and she's my favourite for sure. But I love all the others, and Marcos, oh yeah, that bottle of champagne, and he had all these romantic and sweet and just optimistic ideas of what he would do with Lorna when he got her back. And if he could just see her again, she would come around or something, but it's so hard because she, idealistically, she believes in where she is. And I think the fact that she's very much aware of what Reva is really like, that shows that she's choosing to be here because she believes in it, despite that. And I don't think she stopped loving Marcos, of course she hasn't, but in her opinion, like she said to Andy, a little bit of homesickness here and there, that's fine, but you've got to be committed to the thing or else Reva will kill you. But that's why she's choosing to raise her baby who is not doing very well. I'm stressed about that. I do not want Dawn to be sick, but especially with Marcos being nowhere to be seen, I don't know, maybe he'll come and find, I don't know, it's very stressful. And the way he sent the message at the end was so sweet. I also think it was leading right back to where we were all staying, and it was very clearly a weird greed spotlight. Might have attracted some attention, but it was really lovely and heartbreaking. And that scene with him and Caitlin, I love their connection, their way they really get each other and they're there for each other, apart from when they're there for each other and then one of them walks off, dramatically leaving the other one very emotional. But they're both the ones that are suffering the most visibly, that kind of, they're the ones who have made it their entire mission to get back the people that left. Whereas the others are doing everything they can to help with that because that's what they want to do too, but they are seeing more the realities of it, that it's not going to be as easy as finding Andy, Lorna and the baby. Lorna, I'm so sorry, finding Andy, Lorna and the baby and then them all coming back and magically being happily ever after. I love as well that we got to see John this episode and how, you know, he was the leader of that mutant underground, of that section of it. That was his role. He was so passionate about it. He was really good at it. And I think it's, of course he's going to blame himself because people do blame themselves in those situations. And even though Lizard of Oz, whose name I can't remember, she blamed him as well, and it's not his fault. There were so many things there beyond their control, from Lorna being captured in the first place. It wasn't John's fault, people get captured all the time, to the Struckers coming along, to the scientists having the interest in the Struckers, to the Frosters getting involved, added even more to it. And I think things were escalating in the politics in at least America in the show, that mutants being hunted and everything was getting worse and worse, so I think the escalation was inevitable. And then the whole building getting destroyed, well, it was gone by that point anyway. If the Inner Circle hadn't come along, if the Hellfire Club hadn't come along, then maybe there's a chance they would have rebuilt in Atlanta and not ended up being completely dispersed. But the way it happened was that, and it was nobody's fault in particular, no one person caused it to happen. If anything, it was the scientist guy whose name I've forgotten and the Sentinel Services caused it to happen. It wasn't the mutants. But for John, he was in the Marines and that was important to him, and then that was taken away, and then he was lost. He got back a purpose with the underground, and now he's feeling lost again. He opened up part way to Clarice, and I really wish he would open up all the way to her, because he's not in a good place, and I think she would really be there for him. In a way, he just needs to be able to focus on his passion on the little family they've got, the little group that they've got, and helping people and saving people. But that's hard, because even that feels like they haven't got much of a chance. Horrible it is to say that there's not much hope for that. So I can see how hard it's finding it, and that's part of, again, I think, why he found it so hard and put off talking to Marcos about how he was doing, because what can he really say to him? I mean, anything would help, but he can't make it better. He can't say to Marcos, oh look, we found Lorna, we found the baby, everything's fine. There's nothing he can do really to help Marcos, but he can just be there for him. So I'm really glad that, like I said, Andy and John got more of a central point in this episode. We got to really feel it, because like last episode, it felt like Andy couldn't care less his family weren't with him, and I like that he mentioned that he's been missing them, and that when he heard his dad on the phone, he wasn't like, oh god, I hate dad, and hang up. He was really emotional, and you know, you could tell he wanted to speak. But it's Lauren he has the connection to, it's Lauren he's dreaming about, it's Lauren that he, I think, doesn't want to be frightened of him, that their powers are so bonded, they are Fenris, that connection is going to be really interesting to explore this season. And I'm kind of surprised that Reva and the Inner Circle aren't more interested in attempting to get Lauren on side, just because they could have Fenris if they had that. You know, those walls would be no problem if they had Fenris. But I suppose from what the Frost sisters, from looking inside all of their heads, what Esme would be able to say is that Lauren would not come willingly, and they are very much wanting people to be on their side and to be trustworthy, or they'll kill them. Esme, again, oh, she's so fascinating because she doesn't fall in line with her sisters. Oh, I can't wait to see what's going to happen with that. I really can't. We got the name for the underground, literally underground mutant people, a mutant underground that were in the trailer. We saw them in the trailer, so I'm guessing in the next episode or so they're going to go and actually meet them, and I'm quite excited to see what's up with them. Very intrigued by Reed's powers and why he won't tell anyone. Does he just not want to burden anybody? Does he think they're going to kill him? Or is he just scared of having mutant powers? As much as he's supporting mutants, working with mutants, he's accepted that his kids are mutants, does he still have some of that, I don't want to be a mutant? Or is there more to it than that? I'm very interested. I think part of it is he's not going to tell Lauren because she's his child, and he'd feel like, as much as he's not doing a great job of it, it is his job to be the one that helps her out with her problems. And Caitlin is so fixated on Andy and running around desperately looking for Andy and being cross with anyone with her thinking about anything other than looking for Andy, that he feels like he can't tell her, I guess. But, oh, I just wanted to tell someone, even, I don't know, anyone, so that they can help him. But we saw a glimpse of his powers. They seem to be very strong. Of course, the Unstrucker powers are very strong. So, yeah, what's going to happen with that? Yeah, this was a brilliant, brilliant episode. I love how everything is building up, and it was just, everyone was miserable the whole way through. I mean, I guess Andy ended up better off than he started, because they managed to inspire him that, okay, well, maybe you're having dreams in which Lauren's scared of you, but when we win this war, Lauren will be thrilled, so you'll get through it. And he was kind of doing okay by the end of it. He's in a very bad position, and yeah, I feel like I connected with him more this episode than I have for the previous season. I think I don't agree with lots of choices he's made, but seeing where he was now, he wasn't as far gone to that side as I thought he might have been, and I'm actually kind of scared for him. But I think the chances with the reason their manipulation is working so well on him isn't just because he's a child, it's because part of him had always wanted to fulfill, from the minute he found out about it, the Fenris legacy. Part of him had wanted to fight back. I think probably ever since he was bullied at school and he couldn't fight back, now he can fight back. And I think there's that part of him that will always have been there that would do anything to help his family as well. He's not doing it because he thinks, oh, it's going to be really funny if I go and hurt people, but he thinks there's no other way to make change. And I think he likely could have come around anyway, but they are manipulating him into staying on that path now rather than leaving him to find his own way to it. But I think that manipulation, that comment about how you're doing this for every mutant, you're doing this for your family, you're doing this for Lauren, will be enough that will make him think they just don't understand what I'm doing, and he will not come back to them even if they find him. But oh god, that was such a good episode. So yeah, my favourite character is Lauren. Then the next three fluctuate, and it's Clarice, John and Marcos, and from episode to episode they go up and down. And then there's Lorna, who I also love. Lorna it used to be 4 of them that fluctuated up and down, and then Lorna joined the Hellfire Club, the Inner Circle, and she knows that they do bad things and that they will kill you if they're not there. And so she just becomes 5th. But I still love her, but Polaris is my 5th favourite character. I cannot wait for next week. Thank you for watching.